Good day, everyone. I'm so excited to be here today. I'm excited to be with entrepreneurs and like-minded people. Today, we're having a conversation and we're talking about Thrive with Entrepreneurs on the Move, presented by Entrepreneurs on the Move. Today, we're having a conversation that's going to ignite entrepreneurs. We're going to give you resources. We're going to have tips for you, as well as insight. Today, I want to start by saying I'm excited to be here. My name is Sherilyn Smith. I am the owner of Enigma LLC. And for over 30 years, I had the pleasure of being an entrepreneur. I love the dynamics of being an entrepreneur. I love the challenge that came with being an entrepreneur. But more importantly, I love servicing my clients and learning how to go above and beyond the contract. How do I hear my client? How do I give them what they need? And even though at this time, I'm not still an entrepreneur, I'm in the other world of corporate America, I still embed and I still tap into that mindset of being an entrepreneur. And today we're going to talk to you about how do you grow, how do you expand, and how do you extend your reach as well as your mindset in today's times. Also, I would love to talk to you all about a few things. As she stated, the actual taping is being recorded today, and we're going to be working with you as we go along, as we talk about entrepreneurship. As always, when you love something, you also love to give back. And that's why I'm here today. When I was asked to moderate, I thought about what could I talk about? What could we share? What could we all learn? And today, that's what is going to take place. We're having a conversation with three amazing entrepreneurs. We're excited for you to participate. We're asking that you also, if you have any questions, to place those in the chat. And we will also be excited to talk to you and answer those questions as they are presented at the end of the conversation. At this time, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. My company did full service events and marketing. I've serviced NBA, NFL players, along with nonprofit organizations and several major corporations. But today, we're here to learn more about our phenomenal panel of women. Today, we're hearing from Toomey, the founder of Entrepreneurs on the Move, Lynn O'Neill, the president of Entrepreneurs on the Move, as well as Zondra Evans, the founder of On the TV Network. Today, let me actually begin with Terry. Terry, give us a little about yourself and then tell us more, and then we are excited to hear what you have to share.
Well, I'm Terry Toomey, and I am the founder of Entrepreneurs on the Move. I guess you could call me a serial entrepreneur. I have, over the years, have developed many companies. And so what I'm really focusing on is, with Entrepreneurs on the Move, how do we help small companies become who they want to be? And so it's nurturing, it's advising them, it's helping them, learn new skills. And so part of my entrepreneurial journey is I created a nonprofit organization called the Industry Hub. And the Industry Hub really focuses on incubators and that very startup companies, giving them the amount of support that they need to be successful. And so that's my motivation. That's what I'm about. And I'm here as a mentor for the city of DeSoto and for the South Dallas area. So if there's any small businesses in this area, please get in touch with me. I'd love to work with you and help you grow.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you so much. I will ask for everyone to mute their backgrounds at this time. I would appreciate that. Next, we're going to have a few words from Lynn O'Neill. She is the president of Entrepreneurs on the Move. Lynn?
Thank you, Sherilyn. I am so happy to be here with everyone. I don't know if there's a better feeling than being with entrepreneurs. Probably not. So my background, it took me a while to realize that I probably have entrepreneurship in my DNA, but I started out in corporate America and held some wonderfully substantive positions there. Started my with a lot more guts than sense, I might say. But one of the things that happened for me is that I really found what I loved and I think really who I am. And the reason that Entrepreneurs on the Move and things like this video cast, the reason these things are important to me is I know and you know how important we are to this economic environment. You know that the United States of America would not be the same wonderful country without us. But sometimes I think we're the only ones that know, and I am real tired of that. So one of the things that I have as a mission here is to ensure that we are recognized for the contribution that we make and the many skills that we bring and the many jobs that we create and the overall well-being of this country, of which we are a magnificent part. So we're going to talk about things that are very pragmatic steps we can take. We're also going to talk about our mission, and both are important, and we want to hear your thoughts. The one thing I want to say about Entrepreneurs on the Move, and I'll be sure I don't forget this, one of the key values, and probably the key value, well, actually not even probably, the key value for us is responsiveness. So as we know what you need, and as we know what will help to make your lives and your businesses better and easier, that becomes our mission as well. I just want you to know that we're in your corner, that you are incredibly important to us, and we want to be important to you too. But if I'm putting those things in order, you're on the top. And that's a really important message from us to you here today. So I'm thrilled you're here. Yay.
Thank you, Lynn. Excellent. Now we'll have Zondra Evans. She's the founder of Funnel TV Network.
Well,
Zondra?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you again for joining this panel discussion. My name is Zondra Evans, and I'm the founder and owner of Zondra TV Network. And if you haven't heard of that yet, it is a TV network designed specifically for small business entrepreneurs. And so you could do everything from an interview to having your own commercial, everything. It's a full digital marketing and advertisement solution for small business. I am absolutely delighted that I have been asked to be a part of this panel today because I consider myself a small business entrepreneur just like many of you. And I've been an entrepreneur on many occasions. I think that I have entrepreneurship in my blood. All my life, I've had a business. And so, you know, and here I am in the business shoes again after spending 40 years in corporate America. This particular movement, Entrepreneurs on the Move, United, is important to me for a couple of reasons. I feel as though small business entrepreneurs are the last to be heard, to be seen, and have the ability to truly grow. I believe that this organization is going to help us to be able to become united so that we can scale and grow our business. That's exactly what my company is all about. That's exactly what Entrepreneurs on the Move United is about. So I'm excited to be here, and I know we have a great time today. And remember, if y'all got questions, put the questions in the chat box because we want to be able to talk with you and answer questions that you might have just about, you know, this pandemic or potentially just about entrepreneurs on the move. We want to be able to speak with you today. So don't forget to put your questions in the chat box. Thank you so much, Sherilyn, for being our moderator. And I'm turning it back over to you.
Thank you, Zondra. I appreciate it. I'm so excited. So definitely, thank you. Now, I want to go a few housekeeping rules that we're going to follow. I want to make sure that everyone knows where to find the chat so that you'll know how to post your questions so that I can answer them, ask them at the end of this session. So if you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see 3 little dots. Make sure you click on that, click chat, post your questions, and toward the end, we'll come back and we'll answer those questions. The next thing I would like to say, if you're watching us on Facebook, welcome. We're happy to have you. Please share so that we can extend the conversation and extend the reach, which is also amazing. I think all the ladies spoke on different things in their introduction. And one thing that I did like they spoke about was responsiveness. They talked about accountability. They talk about scale and also about growth. And that's what Entrepreneurs on the Move is all about. So let's dive in. Let's begin our conversation. And I'm going to start out with the first question. And I'm going to have this question directed to Terry. The first question, Terry, is how can I survive in the wake of COVID-19? What would you tell an entrepreneur about that?
Well, I think the businesses that are going to survive are the ones who can be agile. So you need to look at what's happening in the market and in our world. Our world has changed, and it has changed permanently. We're never going to go back to what it was pre-COVID-19. And so you've got to be planning right now what you're going to do when we start back, when we can get out and circulate again. For all of you who have restaurants, think about this. You're not going to be able to have as many people in your space as you may have built your financial model on. Stores, are you going to be able to go in and try on clothing and put that clothing back on the shelf? We need to think about all of the ways our world has changed and how you're going to respond to it. And the ones who can respond to it are the ones that will survive. And so it's not about entrenching and digging into what you do or what you want to do. It's looking at the world and thinking, what can I do? And how do I need to adjust my business so that I can be successful? So just look at what's going on right now. This week, Dallas opened up, curbside pickup for stores. Well, okay, that's great. But what if you're a retailer and somebody bought something from you and now they want to bring it back? What, do you have to change your return policy? I don't know. That's up to you. But it's something to think about, because when something comes back like that, now that's going to have to go to the dry cleaner and be cleaned before it can go back on the shelf. That's an additional cost to you. For those of you who have physical locations, how are you going to need to change? And what does that cost of that change mean in how you run your business? So if you're renting and you have bathroom facilities that are open to the public, what are you going to have to do now? You're going to have to not let everybody in, or it has to be cleaned in between each person going in there. I don't know what that means, but you as a business owner, you need to think about that and figure out how you're going to respond to it. So I think to survive, I think the biggest thing is being agile. And then if your business model is not going to work in this new environment, what can? Change your model. Because if you're going to stay in business, you've got to figure out how to service your customer and do it in a way that's safe for you and safe for them. And that's one of the things that we as business owners never had to think about. I've never had to think about the physical cleanliness of my area other than just keeping it neat and normally clean. But I've never had to think about, between clients, I've got to go in and wipe down all the surfaces. I never thought about if I have a fabric covered chair that somebody sat in, that maybe I can't have that chair in my office anymore. Maybe I now have to have something that's a hard plastic that can be wiped down. I don't know what it means, but you've got to adjust to that. And those of you who have large workforces, you've got to protect those people. That's of value to you, and keeping them healthy and well so they can come back and continue to contribute to your organization is huge, but it's something we've not had to think about before.
Very good. I think that's excellent points you made. And to recap what you just stated, Terry is saying be agile, be able to adjust and readjust. Also, redefining your why. I think that's phenomenal. And I totally agree. I think that's the key. Shift your mindset, entrepreneurs, and be prepared for when things do return. The next question I have is, I'm going to have this go to Zondra. How can I effectively market my business when I can't leave my home?
That's such a good question. And I think that people have been calling me nonstop for the past 3 or 4 weeks. Well, there are so many things that you could do. But I kind of want to start out with, I want to talk about something that I've been talking about on various different summits over the last 3 to 4 weeks. I think it's really time that we as small business entrepreneurs and solopreneurs would apply what I call the business PPE. Yeah, we know what it means. Otherwise, it's, protective, equipment. But I really want to talk about that we need to learn how to pivot, plan, and execute. And we have to learn how to do that very quickly. No longer can we plan for 6 or 8 months or a year before we begin executing. So when I think about what you could be doing now are things like a press release. It doesn't mean that you leave your home. You could do a press release and you could put that out on the wire. The media is looking for more stories than just about COVID-19. Take this opportunity. This is a great opportunity to tell another story. I think that you could do digital online advertisement and marketing of your business, and you never have to leave your home. These are the things that, and that's just naming two, because I don't want to take up a whole bunch of airtime. There's so much that you could do digitally, but I will tell you this. If you learn nothing else in any business, whether it be a restaurant, whether it be a boutique, whether it be, a consultant, it kind of doesn't matter. You have to have a digital landscape in your business. If this didn't teach you anything, this pandemic should have taught you that I must have a digital component to my business in order for me to be able to sustain my business long term, because there will probably be another pandemic or another situation that'll happen. But if you position yourself now to have that digital side to your business, it's going to make all the difference in the world. I'm gonna give you this little. I had done a focus group on a Saturday, but about 3 or 4 days prior to that, I was on a panel discussion, and I talked about being able to hold Zoom calls if you have a boutique, and put your wares up so people can see it when you're having your Zoom calls. I think I was most delighted that when I got on that panel discussion on that Saturday that I was hosting, someone with a boutique actually took what I had said and had the most beautiful dress up during this discussion. And everybody, there were like 15 people on the line, and all of us wanted the dress. Immediately, that's 15 dresses sold. That's revenue. And all she needs to do is package it and take it to the mailbox. So to me, again, just changing and reframing your mindset so that you've got some kind of digital component to your business.
Excellent. Excellent insight. And I think that's excellent. And keep in mind, those who are taking notes, Zondra is saying to pivot, plan, and execute, maximize this time, and think beyond. Yeah. Okay, for my next question, I'm going to get this one to Lynn. If today's workplace becomes the new normal, how do I move my business to the new normal?
Well, my one-liner for that is go ask your people how they want to do it. I remember being wildly influenced probably 20 years ago by a book that called The Wisdom's in the Team. And I think that much like entrepreneurs get overlooked, lots of times we forget those frontline people. It's not that we don't know they're there, and it's not that we don't care about them. It's not what I mean. It is that we forget what a source of wisdom and input and innovation that they are. So my very first thing would be to sit with my team and have us design what we wanted, what was an ideal workspace in so many ways. And as hard as this may sound at this point, particularly those who are waiting for their loans to be approved, but as hard as that is, there is real opportunity here. And both Terry and Zondra have referred to that, and I believe that with all my heart. So the opportunity, I believe, relative to this question, Sherilyn, is that you actually sit down and say, who do we want to be? What do we want it to look like? And how do we want to operate? Which values have we forgotten about we want to bring back to the forefront? Which customers can we go back and pick up and bring to help support our business? It is a time for new beginnings. And out of really tough situations, I always think about the phoenix, the bird that rose from the ashes and recreated. This is a phoenix time for small business. to come back and to say, who do we want to be? And I challenge everybody, and me at the head of the list, because I've been doing that, and say, okay, what? That's why Entrepreneurs on the Move is so important. Because that for me is the message that the time is right and the work is wildly needed. So think about that for you, and think about particularly the people. It's really useful if you've got good records and you can go back and look at every customer that you've had since you started. Like I started my consulting business in 1980. I actually have a customer list for all that time. Most of those people, I'm happy to say, have come along with me. There are some here and there that I am not still working with. And I just made a call list just last week and said, okay, now's the time. Let me go back for them. So I believe, first of all, I would go to my team, because I believe that's where the wisdom resides. And the other thing is, I've been listening, Pat Lencioni, who wrote The 5 Dysfunctions Team, about 20 other books. One of the things he's been talking about so much, I love his work. And one of the things he's been talking about is the importance for a leader to be vulnerable. And it is vulnerable with the training that most of us have had and the leaders we've observed. It's kind of hard sometimes to say, I have not a clue what to do with this, or where to go with this. But that may be the most important statement that we make. So when I go to my frontline people, or when I go to my team members, my peers, and people who work with and for me and with and for whom I work, I want to be really open, and I want to be as vulnerable as is humanly possible. And where I don't know and I don't have the answers, I sure want to say that. And I don't think that very many of us have been taught that way. And if ever there was a time for vulnerability to come out, this is it. So I would go to my team. I would be who I really am in my heart, because we're all vulnerable there. I would be that. And I would talk about what it is that I want to be, because this is going to flip. And as Terry said, this is going to happen again too. So we need to be agile enough to do that. And certainly digital is a huge part of that. But part of it is just baseline, just like you're building a house. This is the foundational piece for who we're going to be for the next 5 to 10 years. So take that opportunity. Do not let that slip through your fingers.
Great advice. I like the analogy of the phoenix bird. That's perfect, Lynn. And I also think to make sure that everyone's making their notes, Lynn is saying to be authentic, trust your team, sit down and dialogue with them, discuss it further, and create your crisis plan after this crisis and how you can extend it and still grow your company. It can still take place. You're just shifting, which is what entrepreneurs do very well. We shift. So I'm excited now to have a question that I'm going to ask all of you all. And in this question, I'll start first with Terry, then we'll go to Lynn, then we'll have Zondra. This question, Terry, I'm going to start with you. What is Entrepreneurs on the Move? What does it mean to you?
Okay. Well, when I started, when I first concepted Entrepreneurs on the Move, I looked at what was happening in our market. And what do entrepreneurs need? And so, there's lots of organizations that have meetings, and there's organizations where you can get benefits, and then there's organizations where you can get training. But you know what none of them have? None of them gives that small entrepreneur, and I mean with 100 employees or less, representation. And so that's what we're about, is to take and create a community where we together figure out what's important to us, and then we go fight for it. So, we saw what happened in the first round of the CARES Act. What happened? The banks slowed every small business down and so they couldn't get lending. They couldn't get the loans. And then before we even realized what was going on, all the money was gone. And who did it go to? It went to businesses that are traded on Wall Street. Those are small companies? I don't think so. And we looked at the banks made $6 billion and we got nothing. And so I think the timing for entrepreneurs is right on time. And I want all of you entrepreneurs, we're having our first official act as Entrepreneurs on the Move is to host a virtual march on Washington, D.C. for May 1st. And what the message that we want to send to Congress and the White House and all of those big businesses is that we will be heard. We are tired of being ignored. And so join with us, because I want you to be just as mad about this as I am, because we deserve that money. You know what? There are less than 20,000 companies that have more than 500 employees. And pre-COVID, there were 30 million small businesses. And those are the ones that with less than 500 employees. But there's 98.1% of the 30 million have less than 20 employees. So we are the majority, but we no longer can be the invisible majority. So we want you to join with us, and we want to hear your voices.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you. And please note that you can go into our chat. You can find the link to the website for more information to join the march that will take place on next Friday. Thank you so much, Terry. Lynn, can I have?
Sure. Well, I'll tell you that when Terry first talked to me about this organization, I actually could feel my heart pounding. And that's a real nice thermometer to tell me that something is right and that something is a fit for me. So when she said, would you join up? But there was not even any hesitation on my part. So I want to tell you about a couple of things that we talked about that I think answer this question, and boy, are they near and dear to me. One of them is I want to eradicate the use of the term small business, or at the very least redefine it. I am what Terry was talking about with this. We call ourselves small, but we are the bulk of the economic workforce, and so honestly it makes me angry. I feel like the guy, some of you are too young to know, but there was a movie called Network. If you haven't watched it, this is a good time. And everybody in New York City was hanging out the window going, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. And that's how I feel about this. So I'm tired of being a small business. What I want to be known as is a contributor who makes a difference. I'm happy to be proportionate. That's fine. But if it were proportionate, the fact of the matter is every seat in Congress would be held by somebody who had also run a small business. So that's what proportionate is. So my part of what is really attractive to me is in both words and deed. I want to help to define, we as an organization want to help to define what small business is. And also, some of you know that I've done chin research for years. And when people are proud, their chins are level with the floor. And when they're not, they dip their chins. I want people to say, I am a business owner with their chins level with the floor, which is the pride that we all actually have in our businesses and that we deserve to have for all that we do. I don't know anybody who probably would start a business if we knew how much work it was. You know, there is that. I mean, those 18-hour days are short days, right? So it's that kind of thing. So let's redefine and say who we are. Entrepreneurs on the Move says that to me. And then to the point of being heard, it's being heard not about the emotion, although that certainly is the filler for our comments, but it is about the contribution that we make and the recognition that we deserve. And that recognition may be monetary, that recognition may be thank you for what you do, all kinds of forms. Money helps though. So there is that. The fact of the matter is that just having something where when people work as hard as the entrepreneurs I know work, that there is a justifiable and proportionate result to that. And that to me, so I think all that is rolled in to that redefinition. I want the terminology redefined. I want the representation redefined. I want the recognition redefined, and I want us to continue to attract what we have now. We just don't broadcast, and we need to, which is that we have the best and the brightest in this country, and they own small businesses. And I, for one, am ready to hoist that flag and go. And I hope you'll go with us. I believe that, I just believe too easily we just kind of knuckle down and forget what we do and what our contribution is. I'm here to tell you that we are mighty. In the words of Wonder Woman, here we are. But it is, the fact of the matter is, we are the heart and soul of this country, not just the economy. We're the heart and soul of it. And it's about time to make that heartbeat be heard. So come and help us. I promise you that we will be responsive to what you need. If we can't do what you're asking, we'll sure tell you that. And between us, we'll figure a way to make it work. So that's where I am. I am thrilled to be a part of this. I call it a movement. I am thrilled to be a part of what Entrepreneurs on the Move stands for. I don't think there's anybody who's got the heart that we are putting forth on this. A lot of people with great organizations, great offerings, but I got to tell you, we all know we live this, and it is time that we're heard. So get loud. Here we go.
I love that. I love that. Redefining small business.
Yep.
Excellent idea. Love that. Zondra, I'd like to hear from you now.
Well, you know, they kind of said a lot. I would say all those things, because redefining small business, Lynn, you know, I went on a rampage at our morning meeting one morning. Redefining what small business is, because I don't feel as though many of us on this phone had a dream. We had a dream, and we are like chasing our dream right now. We're trying to make this dream, come into full view. And many of us are just either a, solopreneur, or maybe a solopreneur on steroids. That means you got one other person that you're working with. But we're truly small businesses. I think that we have had the mindset for so long that I'm in business for myself, and I'm also in business by myself. We have resolved to that as an entrepreneur. That, I got to chase a dream. Nobody was called to do it but me. I'm on it. But for me, this is my opportunity to change and reframe my mindset that I am in business for myself, but I don't have to be by myself. And that if I'm going to place a bet somewhere, I'm going to place it on these two women, Terry Toomey and Lynn O'Neill, that have years of experience in business that can help us to turn this ship. We've got to raise the tide. Huh?
We're not doing this without you, so.
Well, but what is it? All tides raise all ships or whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm tired of trying to turn the ship just on my own. My voice really does matter. In fact, I created a podcast recently that's called, Your Voice Matters. Because as an entrepreneur, your voice matters, but who do you tell? And so I did a live, and I was saying, who are we talking to? We're talking to our family members. We're talking, to maybe one or two business owners. But what happens after that? So I want to be able to have a united force, and I call it a movement as well, Lynn, a movement that's actually going to go to DC and really going to make a difference and hear what we're trying to say and pave the way for small businesses. I tell people all the time, I might own a TV network, but a mid to large size business could do nothing for me but sponsor me. They can't be on my, that's not what it's for. It's for you. It's for the small business. I have dug my heels in the sand and believe that small business, that I want to level the playing field for small business so that we can have exactly what a mid to large size business has, or we can have exactly what those, defined as small businesses that have 500 employees or less. We should have exactly what they have. And so I want to see the playing field to be leveled through Entrepreneurs on the Move United. This is a movement. This isn't just like, oh, I'm going to join this organization. No, This is a movement that your voice will always be heard. One of the things that I talked about, for entrepreneurs on the move is that we're always going to have small group discussions. What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? Because it's about what do you need, and then taking that information and doing something valuable to change your outcome. And we got to act quickly, y'all. We need to get strong quick. And so Entrepreneurs on the Move is my organization of choice. It's my movement of choice because of all the things that are available in Entrepreneurs on the Move. So I heard about it from Terry Toomey, and I was like, I'm in. I just immediately said I'm in. It's a no-brainer for me. If I'm going to be a part of something, I want to be a part of something that's not only going to be a voice for me, but it's also, going to have benefits inside of there that you can't get nowhere else. Where are you going to get 1.9% for credit card processing? Nowhere. But you get it here. So I'm excited about it, you guys. Did I say a lot, Cheryl?
You said, you know what? That's what it's about. Give us all the information. Give us the why. Give us how. And to add to that, I think this is the perfect time to share to everyone that you can join, become a member, be a part of the movement. Definitely go into the chat. You will find the website address to join. But the beautiful thing also is that they are offering a $10 discount. The code is EOTM March. That code is also in the chat as well. So now is the time to join the movement, join the organization. And also the good thing about that, I think all the ladies shared, was the ability that their heart is in it. Their heart is for entrepreneurs. They are a team, they are a unit. They're about movement, ideation to action. So please go and join. So before I go to the next question, I want to really make sure that people are going into the chat. Give us your questions. Toward the end of the hour, I will go in there and I will ask some of those questions, okay? And then also we have a top 10 tips for you all to deal with COVID-19 in this pandemic for entrepreneurs. So definitely, you will also find the email address. The email address is info@eotm.us. So definitely send us an email and go to the website. So I have one more question. Well, a few more questions actually, but I'm gonna have this one for Terry. Terry, what types of resources will be provided by Entrepreneurs on the Move?
Well, we've looked at a lot of what do small businesses need. And so I did a pretty extensive scan on the internet and found out a whole raft of free things that you can have. And then we looked at, so what's the next layer? So we give you everything we can give you for free. And then about a year ago, I created a TV channel on Zondra's network called B-Train. And it's specific training for small business. So, we talked, and Zondra and Lynn excuse me, can attest to this, but we interviewed, let Lynn take it for now. Lynn, can you pick up?
Sure. Well, among other things, we're looking at some future offerings on benefits. That really excites me a lot. But we have some small benefit offers that it's really hard to get. It's a great recognition format for your employees, as an example. Zondra referenced the credit card. We're actually talking as early as tomorrow morning with about 4 different companies who are interested in partnering with us with benefits for you. Among those, some of those are educational, some of those are financial, some of those are networking based for you to find resources. So we've got a real variety of that. And the thing that I most want you to know, because you can go on the website and look at what we're offering, there's also a legislative arm that I am really excited about. And we've sort of inferred that, but more about that later. But one of the things that I want you to know is this is not a static process. So the benefits that are on there right now are great. That's for today. But stay tuned for tomorrow. because we are adding these in. Our goal is actually so that the dues money that you pay is so covered and over by the benefits that you are able to access that it's a no-brainer to do it. So our goal is to do it. And just a real plug for Terry, the way she has set this organization up, we are a for-profit because we are entrepreneurs, but I will tell you that she's put some limits. And one of the things that I love the most, you know, if you look at a lot of the Fortune 100, you've got a CEO who makes 5,000 times what the entry-level employee does. That won't happen in this organization. This organization has got values about the equality. So people are certainly paid for their contribution. That's great. You certainly deserve and will get benefits for the money that you pay as a member. But fairness and equality and ensuring that all people are treated well is the heartbeat of this organization. So when you look at that benefits list, we've got about, I think there are 6 items on there right now. The fact of the matter is, by tomorrow, that could go to 10 or 11, or it might take us till next Wednesday. But the issue is we're working on these wonderful kinds of things, and the suggestions come from you. So, you know, if you want to help us out, if you'd like to see this go further, tell us what it is that you need. And particularly tell us, I'd really love for you to search really deeply and think about the ones that when you think about them, you think, oh my goodness, you know, what I'd really love to have is this, but I could never get that for my group. That's the ones we want to go for you. So do not cross anything off your list. I don't think that there's anything that we cannot make happen. So some might take us a little bit longer than others, but we're pretty speedy folks, and we have you in mind. So anyway, that's my pitch.
Yeah, now that I can talk again.
Welcome back. No problem.
Well, we are building into your membership some things that are free to you. So not only did we research all the free resources, but the B Train, which normally retails for almost $24 a month, we're including that for free. We're including Access Perks, which is an employee benefits program, and we'll cover up to 5 of your employees. That's included in your base dues. But other than that, we have a spreadsheet that's on the website. So once you join, you'll get a welcome package. It defines what's in that, what we want you to tell us what you're interested in. And then we'll only send you the offers that you're interested in. And so I see that Javier is on the call with us. Javier is with a merchant account, and we negotiated with him so that you're not paying a monthly fee for your merchant account. You're just paying a per transaction fee. And the per transaction fee is lower than the nearest competitor. So we're trying to save you money and things like that. So, and then we have a telehealth opportunity on there. You can go to the outside and get these yourself, but we've negotiated discounts. So by going through Entrepreneurs on the Move, you get those discounts. And so that's what we're really talking about is, and you tell us what else you want, just like Lynn said. And I'm a pretty tough negotiator. I can usually get you the best deal that we possibly can get you, something that you could not get yourself. And so that's the charm. The other thing too is, you know, we've rejected some offers that came from pretty big companies because what they were willing to give us wasn't enough. What they wanted to give us was, you know, such a small discount compared to what we're going to be giving them in exposure to a large audience, that I just went back to them and said, your offer's not good enough. And so sweeten up your offer and come back. But as it stands right now, the answer is no. We are not going to offer it to our people. And we also have, because of, if you get on our site and read our code of ethics, if we find somebody in the organization who is deliberately abusing somebody else in the organization, we will ask them to leave, or we will have them not be part of the organization anymore. We want to have people who are ethical, that you trust, and that, you know, when you're working with us, you have somebody to talk to. You have somebody to come back and say, hey, here was my experience working with that person. And you know what, as a business owner, one of the things that I appreciate, and I don't think a lot of people do, when somebody comes to you with a complaint, that's a gift.
Yeah.
Because if you pay attention to that, you can improve your organization. And so that's what we want to do. If there's somebody within our organization that is getting bad feedback, we want to work with them to help them improve their organization. And you can only do that when you're in a trusted group that you can work with and that you feel comfortable with and you know is on your side.
Awesome. You know, ladies, you are giving some great advice. I love that a complaint means an opportunity. And you know that the best part of what Terry just shared was in the very beginning, when she said that she has a show on Zondra's platform. That's collaboration. That's entrepreneurs working together. That's the cause and the heart of this organization working with their members. That's proof there. Awesome. Awesome job, ladies. Okay, I have another question before we go to the chat room. And I want all of you all to answer it. And once again, I would like to start with Terry. How is Entrepreneur on the Move different and better than other networking groups? I know you kind of touched on that, but maybe kind of give us a bit more insight.
Well, I think here's what we're going to do. So in our networking meetings, we're going out to find some of the leaders in the different fields, in sales, in marketing, in leadership. And in the beginning of every one of our networking meetings, and we will start on time, but in the beginning, we're going to have a 15-minute training section where you're going to get to interact just like we're doing now, and you can have a chat with somebody. Hopefully someday we'll get back so we can all have a meeting in the same room. But if that doesn't happen, we'll continue doing it virtually. But you're going to be able to ask experts, how do I improve? And so that's one thing. Then the benefits, that we're going to have a complete training segment that is separate. We will schedule those on a separate calendar than the meeting. And all of these are free to our members. And then the other part is the representation. That's how we're so unique. And so there are lots of companies out there that say they represent small business. They don't represent us. They represent those bigger small businesses, like over 100 employees or more. There's nobody representing us. And so that's what we're about. We are 30 million strong, and we need to speak up.
Love it. And stay strong. Love it. Lynn?
Well, Terry touched on it, but I just want to dig into the legislative, because a lot of the things that we're doing are designed to help all of us who are entrepreneurs and business owners. It's notice I did not say small. And what happens is that those are things that we can put in immediately, put to work as no later than noon today. So the minute, or 1 o'clock, the minute we're off this call. But the legislative piece of this to me, and that's municipal, state, and federal, that legislative piece is what, it will be PG, and it is what will actually ensure that over the years we don't have to fight this fight again. That's my issue. So it is a long-term strategic move to say, what do we want this world to look like? And I believe that have been particularly impacted during this stay-at-home time with how the governors, how much impact they have on whether or not we are able to succeed in the way that we want to. I always look to the federal level because there's such a broad umbrella. But boy, have we seen that the governors of the states either help us or hurt us. And I believe that that carries right down into the cities and counties. And I think that, so our plan is to actually impact each one of those levels. And one of the things we're talking about tips, one of the things I tell anybody who's starting a business is find out who's your zoning person, who gives you your building rights, who's your fire chief, who's your police captain, who's your city council person, who are your state representatives, and of course, who represent you federally as well. But we aim to make that an easy trail for you to follow. And I will tell you that over the course of the last, I've been teaching entrepreneurship a lot in the last 12 years. And one of the things that happens is the people that I have gotten in front of legislators have invariably experienced more success. So I know that that works. It's getting us there. That's tough. So we're going to be like an infrastructure road crew. Our job is to make the highway so that we're all on the toll road to get in, because that's the long term. That is small business success insurance is what that is. And that is what one of the many things that Entrepreneurs on the Move is going to do. So we'll be constantly, we are not going to pelt you with things that you don't want to hear. Let me tell you something. If you're interested in giving us feedback, we will pelt you with requests for that, because we want to know what is working and what, if anything, isn't, and what kind of help that you need, because the key to a lot of that will be in that legislative program. So it isn't the only thing by any stretch. I think that training component, the fact that you can train 5 members of your team, I ask you, would that not help? Think about doing that in your staff meeting every week. I mean, this is an amazing perk. But the fact of the matter is, to ensure that that stays in place is going to require that legislative arm. So let me quit now, because I can talk about it for about 5 hours. So, but that's really important.
I think that's awesome. I do agree. I think how you said success insurance is awesome when it comes to politics. Great, great, great. Zondra?
Well, I'm actually gonna waive my time on this one and see if we can answer some of the questions in chat, because we're at 12:52 and I want to be respectful of people's time, because I could weigh in on it. But let's go to the chat box and let's see if people have questions, because I want to be able to answer those questions.
Perfect. We do have a question from Javier Hernandez. His question is, my biggest frustration is speaking with business owners that are unwilling or unable to accept they must change. How do you help those owners change their mindset so they would change before it's too late?
Go ahead, Lynn. Go ahead.
Can I take that one?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, take it, Lynn.
All right. Well, the first thing to do, when people are unwilling to change, it means that the goal is not right or the dream is not there. So our job, and Javier, I would suggest to you, there's a great book called The Dream Manager. If you don't own that, go buy it this afternoon. Read it before 5 p.m. It won't take you but a couple of hours. Fabulous. It's a template for what I'm talking about. What happens is the minute that people are in sync with the dream or the goal, all of a sudden change is just a no-brainer. And I've watched people, and you've done it too. I think, oh, I can't buy that car, and then I find a way to finance it, and doggone, there's nothing going to stop me. I'm going to have that car. It is like that with business decisions as well. So I suggest when people are reticent to change and when they dig in, we haven't given them the right verbiage or helped them unearth what their dream is.
Great. One more question
let me respond to that too. It's like,
okay.
When you have businesses that refuse to change, they're not going to make it. So stop wasting your time on them.
To the point. Thank you. That's honestly the right answer. That's a very good answer. Okay, next question, Michelle MacArthur. She states, we are in. Thank you for creating. The question is, she has, how many members are on your board so far? And part 2 of the question is, do you have legal accounting services available for entrepreneurs?
Okay, well, we just launched this week, so we don't have many members yet. But that doesn't mean by the end of today, we could have upwards of 100. So we do have accounting services available, and we're negotiating with a couple different attorneys to provide legal services at discounted rates. So yes, we will have those.
Just one thing, to Michelle's question, the board is a work in progress. We literally, as Terry said, just launched this week. So the answer is not quite sure just yet, but your point is well taken.
Yeah.
Perfect. Another question we have is from First Ladies Leadership. Looking for ideas to help the daycare center stay afloat. Creative ideas to keep parents returning.
I think that's a tough one because, you know, as we move forward with this COVID, you know, what we have to do, it's very, very difficult for how we're going to manage small children. Because what do we know from the school process? Kids bring home every germ available. And so I don't think for right now, that question is an easy solve. But think about what you can do for those kids in their environment. So rethink how you do business. So can you deliver over the internet? Deliver a story hour. Deliver songs. Deliver art time. And scale it throughout the day so you're helping that parent. Because remember, that parent is, even though they're home, they still got a job that they're trying to do. So rather than maybe you won't have the full payment because they're not in your facility, they're not off-site for 6 hours a day. But if you could take that child and give them 3 to 4 hours of things to do, way to entertain them, way to engage their mind, and that's what's called being agile. You've got to rethink how you're going to do business.
Perfect. I'm going to take one last question. And this question is from Sharon. It's to Zondra. How can someone get in contact with you if they were interested in your services? Can you tell us exactly what do you do?
All right. Of course, you can get a hold of me. I'm going to make it real personal today. You can just go to send me an email at info at zedscorp.com. And Peggy, if you could put that in the chat box to everyone, that's how you can get a hold of me. And just mention EOTM, and I'll know that you came through Entrepreneurs on the Move. And then I will set up a discovery call with you so that we could go over all the services. So we'll make it easy for today versus trying to put links in there. Just email me and mention EOTM. And then you go get the special discount when you mention EOTM, because I am one of the partner in providing services. So you get a super discount when you are actually associated with EOTM. So yeah, that's how you can get a hold of me.
Awesome. Awesome.
Right.
Ladies, this has been an awesome hour. I want to do a quick recap before we have each of you to say a few words in closing. I want to thank each of you ladies for your insight, your knowledge, your energy, your excitement, and for your skill set. It's truly valued. It was an excellent call today. A few things I want to reiterate is that please go into the chat room. You will find the link to the website so you can get more information regarding the movement on next Friday, and join the march. Join. That is so incredibly important that you have your voice as you join the voice here on this platform. Also, if you have additional questions, feel free to include those in the chat as well. We will definitely have those answered and have those sent back to you. Definitely email your questions to info@eotm.us. And also, when you send your questions, you can also ask for the top 10 tips to survive the COVID-19 business interruption, or just email us and ask us for the top 10 tips. They will definitely send it to you, and it will truly benefit you in these times and continue. Also, don't forget that we have the membership discount taking place, as well as the membership code is in chat as well. So before we conclude, I would like to ask the ladies to kind of give us a few words in closing. And I want to thank everyone again for their time. But first, let's hear from our phenomenal panel. Terry, could you begin?
Thank you. What we want you to know about Entrepreneurs on the Move is we're about you. We're about helping you be strong. And so we want you to join with us, and we will be heard. And so we want you to join and get loud.
Love that. Get loud. Yes. Love that, Terry. Love that. Lynn?
Yeah, a couple of things. In one of the questions was back, somebody asked if we had attorneys and financial. Yes, we do. There are at least 2 financial folks who are fabulous on this call that I know personally. So that, and I'm sure there are some others as well, attorneys as well. So our goal is to have in the membership is to have resource of everything where we can cross service each other and support. I also just want to put a shout out for when you go on the website, be sure and look at Walkabout Office. That is the office of the future. Is Tony Portman, if any of you know her. She's just done a fabulous job for Terry on the Go DeSoto Mall. This is the most amazing virtual office experience you will ever have. Walkaboutoffice.com, and they are partners with us, and you got a great deal with us. You will love this. So get loud, get involved, come and march. That's the start. That says we are here. We may be new, but let me tell you, we're here and we're solid. So hope to see you all next Friday. Loud as we can be. Yes.
Great, Lennon. Great. Zondra?
Speaking of next Friday, I'm just going to go with next Friday because I think we haven't spent enough time in this area. I want every single person that is on this call today to be involved with this national virtual march on Washington, D.C. We will be heard. Don't you want to be heard? So we're organizing this virtual march around the United States so that we can really have our voice be heard in Washington, D.C. Now, listen, all you need to do is register for this, and that'll also be in the chat box. Register at the link that's going to be in the chat box, which is EOTM-March. We want you to be involved. You're also going to be receiving some information from us that talks about, how you can actually record a video and upload it to a Dropbox. We want our message to be heard. So I am asking you, next Friday, May 1st at 12 noon, we're going to be back here virtually. I want you to stand with us and let our voices be heard. So thank you so much, Sherilyn.
Thank you. I have enjoyed today. I want to thank everyone who attended via Facebook or via Zoom Live. We appreciate you. And also I want to thank Kevin. Definitely look on the chat for the Walkabout address as well. And once again, thank you all for attending. Have a wonderful day and be well.